Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. The viability plans are already under attack. European governments react coolly to GM's request for money, and calls are coming up again to merge GM with Chrysler. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, February 19, 2009, and now the news. Yesterday, they presented their viability plans, and today the sniping is already underway. The Wall Street Journal reports that GM bondholders are not happy with the company's plan, saying it does not go far enough to cut costs, even though it gets rid of another 47,000 jobs. They want GM to become immediately competitive, not get there in 2012. And it sure sounds like the bondholders are gearing up for a big fight with the UAW for more concessions. Meanwhile, over in Europe, governments there are reacting very coolly to GM's request for $6 billion in bailout money. The Swedish government flat out refused to put money into Saab, and GM warned it could go into reorganization as early as this month, and I think they mean bankruptcy by that. The Journal also reports labor leaders at Opel want the German government to nationalize Opel to save its jobs. The Detroit News reports Senator Bob Corker of Tennessee is telling GM it should seriously consider merging with Chrysler. Even in its viability plan, Chrysler said its best scenario involves merging with GM, but that GM took that proposal off the table. My guess is we'll hear a lot more about this in the coming weeks. And speaking of its viability plan, Chrysler revealed the names of 2 Alfa Romeos that it will sell in its dealerships, presuming that it merges with Fiat. AutoWeek reports the 2 cars will be called the Milano and the Giulia, but they could also be built in Chrysler plants. And speaking of Alfa, Autoblog reports it will unveil an updated version of its 159 at the Geneva show. Little is known about this model beyond the rumors and handful of leaked photos. We'll just have to wait a couple of weeks until the show starts. And also debuting at the Geneva show is a brand new version of the Ford Ranger that will be built in Thailand and arrive in European showrooms starting in April. No official word when or even if this compact pickup will make it to the Americas. Coming up next, we'll give you a glimpse of what it's like driving Tesla's all-electric Roadster. We'll be back right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
As we've already shown you, Tesla's battery-powered sports car is a real gem. No pun intended, but it has a huge price tag. In its final report, Autoline Daily West Coast correspondent Isaac Bouchard fills us in on what it's like behind the wheel of this eco-friendly Roadster.
As we've mentioned, the Tesla Roadster is not cheap at $109,000, nor is it easy to service unless you live in the cities of San Francisco or Los Angeles where its showrooms are. Those points aside, it's a lightweight, 2-seat, rear-drive sports car with 248 horsepower and torque that's right off the charts. Let's check it out. Tesla's like nothing else I've ever driven. That's because it's got this unrelenting urge. It's got a single-speed gearbox that takes it right to its top speed, and it produces all its torque at 0 RPM. The other thing that's a trip about the Roadster is the way it stops. It's got a completely unique braking system that regenerates the batteries using both the brakes and just letting off the gas. And it makes stopping the Roadster as unique as accelerating the Roadster. Right now, the Roadster is the only model that Tesla is producing. But when June rolls around, the company says there'll be a super premium version of the car called the Roadster Sport with a different engine and higher torque, starting at just under $130,000. Tesla is also working on a less expensive sedan called the Model S. But with recent financial industry woes, we may not see it before sometime in 2011. I'm Isaac Bouchard with Autoline.
Thanks for that report, Isaac, and I can't wait to get in that car myself. Anyway, that's it for the top news in the global automotive industry. But before we go, I want to remind you we're hosting another live webcast at noon today, Eastern Standard Time. Jump over to our homepage, AutolineDetroit.tv, and tune into the broadcast. For the first time ever, you'll be able to watch in real time as we tape Autoline Detroit. After the show is finished, we'll continue our discussion, and you can ask questions and post comments. Again, that's starting today at noon, and we'll also be posting a chat box a little early so you can interact with other participants before the live discussion starts. That does it for today's show. Thanks for watching.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Don's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.